Ezra Mam remains on the bench for the Broncos for the Souths clash. Big call from Madge given the pressure they're under and the wins they need to start racking up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's now crunch time, isn't it? And the performance from Ezra against the Titans, and we all know that final play that he came up with, it's serious questions are being asked about where they're at as a club and certainly where Ezra's form's at. And he needs to repay the Broncos this weekend.
Yeah, he's come up with a couple of plays, but he's a bit like Reece, but not as explosive. He's just got to get back to loving his footy, I think, just and enjoying it. You know, I think when he's at his best, he's got a smile on his face and he's ripping in and he's putting his body in there. And
Are you shocked, though? You know, given the circumstances right now, the must-win game that they're playing, they still...
He's in the 17, right? He's 14th, and with the interchange rule, mate, they can throw him in there at any time. So...
I'm shocked, Rafe. They're gone. They're gone. They're heading towards one of the biggest disasters for a reigning premiers we've seen in 20 years. The fact of the matter is there hasn't been a reigning premier that's missed the finals since the Tigers missed it in 2006 after winning the comp in 2-5, and the year previous it was your boys, the Bulldogs, that had missed it. But that's how rare it is. And they're at that stage now where, yes, their effort was quite good against the Titans on the weekend, but they've let themselves down that consistently in recent times that they've left themselves too big a challenge. Even if they sneak into the finals now, which I don't think they will, but even if they do, they're not going to just lose one more game of their remaining games and finish top four. They're gone, and it's been an absolute slide off a cliff what's happened to them this year. And you know what? It goes back to Payne Haas in the pre-season. Payne didn't leave for no reason. Sure he didn't. You know, you look at the incidents with Ben Teo and the fact that he's gone, the defensive coach, their defence over the last 5 weeks. It's so many things at that club just don't add up at the moment. And Ezra Mam's another one. Yeah. You know, like Brace said, it's gone beyond must-win for this club. And the bloke that was the second best player on the field in the grand final sitting on the bench.
Do you think the defence has got worse since Teo left? The last 5 weeks.
Statistics says they have 5 weeks.
But the only thing that... Because it has, right? When you look at it, it has. I'm a bit torn on it, though, because I remember sitting here 4 weeks after it going, well, the defence has improved out of sight. You know, so it's a
sugar hit, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You don't know.
You don't know.
Because you're right. We were sitting here talking about how brave they were for a couple of wins there. But then it's gone, mate.
Yeah. My concern, while here and now in the present for the Broncos, is real, but I have longer-term fears for the Broncos. With the departure of Payne Haas, for fans that don't know, the influence of Payne Haas on the Broncos dressing room...
It is massive.
As far as standards, at training, and a leader. Who Adam Reynolds is on his way out. Payne Haas is on his way out. Pat Carrigan, we're not too sure about his long-term future at the club given his contract situation.
Has Benny Hunt re-signed?
Not formally.
Okay.
Now,
the talk he wants to go another year, you know, he wants to play until he's 100 maybe, but they've got to move on at some stage, Gordon.
I'm worried about their leadership. I really am. With Payne Haas leaving.
They signed Cameron Smith for that. But as for Payne Haas, like he's... Like, when you watch the way he plays, no matter what the score is, you just play with those guys and he's going to be missed. And I'm not sure he's a big talker, but his actions speak louder than most other guys that have ever put on that jersey.
He was a big talker last week in his return game from injury, ABC, where he gave it to his teammates and said it was all the talk's bullshit. You know, like he laid it on the line there, didn't he? He came back and he led the way for him and they didn't follow him. And so that tells you where he's at with the group standards.
What's concerning with this major franchise, one of the they claim that they want to be the #1 NRL club in the land, that this premiership window that was so wide open to begin the season after last year is shrinking by the minute, and I fear for next year big time. When if you look at the Penriths and the Melbournes, they just stay there. They stay entrenched in premiership, with premiership aspirations, not for the Broncos.
Yeah, it's important the back end of the year for a number of reasons. They've got Payne Haas and Adam Reynolds leaving the club, which they want to send off obviously in a good way. And then you've got this young batch coming through who you want to try and set some standards and get some success before they have to start next year without those key leaders moving on. So a critical period for the Brisbane Broncos over the next few months heading into the back end of the year. Stick around, journos.